My name is Ernano Angelozzi. I got my brain injury when I was 29, so that's 30 years. I fell off a second story balcony in April in Montreal. Fortunately, it was a warm spring, or I would have broken my neck on the frozen ground. I woke up a month later in intensive care at the Montreal General Hospital. They have one of the best institutes in the world, the Montreal Neurological Institute, which eventually I spent some time at because I had some seizure problems as a result of my fall. It was actually at night. A friend who lived a couple of blocks away called me over, another musician. We jammed for a little while. I had one glass of wine at his place. Then we walked about 20 minutes to a downtown bar. We had a couple of beers there. Walked back to my place. I was saying goodbye to him. I was up on my balcony, and I don't know. It was a bit slippery, and somehow I lost my balance and flipped over the balcony and headed for the ground. And I don't remember hitting the ground. Sometimes the brain blocks out traumatic incidents. And when I woke up, everything was different. And of course, never expected this to happen. But it also taught me that expect the unexpected, because once in a while it comes knocking on your door. Life was pretty good. I finished my BA with a major in psychology, and before doing my master's, I have an interest in music, rock and roll in particular, and I decided I'd take some time off and formed a band with some other people, and we did some gigs around Montreal and a few towns that were nearby. That was a lot of fun. And I was also changing the faces of billboards part-time. So, and I never once fell from any of the structures I was on, but we were very careful because the catwalk's this wide, and you've got to, attach yourself, or because if you take a wrong step, you're going down, and it won't be brain injury, it'll be death. Well, initially I was very angry, but I mean, all the good you do goes back out into the universe and comes back, maybe not eventually in your own time, not like John Lennon's instant karma or anything. And all the bad as well goes out there and comes back into the world. So adopting that sort of philosophy, and I learned to meditate and do a few things to calm my temper down, because it used to rise really fast. But my friends always had to keep an eye on me if we went out and we had a couple of beers or something, because if someone sort of was a bit too forward with me, I'd push right back. Sometimes I wouldn't even push, I'd just punch. I got over my temper problems, and that was part of the battle for me too, is regaining emotional control, because I think that's something a lot of people lose after they have an injury, and it's a real fight to get it back. Things went really slow in the beginning. I had to learn to sort of formulate language again. I could think it, but speaking it was difficult. I wasn't pronouncing my words clearly. I mean, I had to learn to tie my shoes, put on my own clothes, all these things that I'd learned when I was a kid. I mean, I had to relearn. And also playing guitar. I mean, I had some muscle memory, but not playing for a year or more. I mean, I had to fight to get that back, and I had to do it slowly. And then when I got frustrated, I just turn up the amp real loud and just make feedback noises. But but that was a good way to get some anger out there. I was lucky that I had some really good friends, and my family stuck by me, and even some of them didn't understand, but at least like my mother, I don't think she quite understands what I was going through, but she decided that she loves me anyway. So it's nice to have that sort of unconditional love. A lot of people don't get it. There's kind of like life before brain injury, and that life will never my life now will never be what it was, and I stopped expecting it to a long time ago. And I think that's a helpful thing. A lot of people that have an injury expect their life to be the way it was before, but in terms of multitasking and emotional control and follow through and all these aspects of mental and physical life, I mean, you got to learn that things aren't going to be the same. It doesn't mean you can't be happy. It doesn't mean you can't have activities. You got to concentrate on small things. I mean, if you enjoy cooking, well, put some time into cooking. My youngest sister is a recreational therapist. Sorry, I've just had so many therapists in my life. And she's a recreational therapist and quite a good one, actually. She was aware of this place, and after I'd moved in and found an apartment, which was easier to do 13 years ago than it is today, she brought me to this place, which was on Queen Street at the time, and I went in and I met the people that were running it, and I registered, and they said, don't come back here next week because we won't be here. They were moving to this address. So I said, what, I just joined, you're throwing me out already? Usually people wait a bit before they do that. And so I came here, and Dee was in Pam's office. This office was changed around so much. She was my caseworker, and she was helping me with my person with disability application. And I come down, and we work an hour, and she could see that I was getting tired. And she said, well, just go around the corner. There's a peer support room, have a cup of coffee, and you might meet some people. The first few times I went in there, I hardly said a word. Then one guy came over, started talking to me. I found out there was a music program there, so I started bringing my guitar on another day for music, and I gradually got involved in various programs and met a community of people that had something happen that was similar to myself in some cases, more severe injuries and stuff, and then learned to become a peer supporter myself. And I find I get a lot out of giving back. I think a lot of people associate brain injury with psychological problems. There's one guy recently, we had one client that used to have a really responsible job, and then now it's a struggle for him to, get his clothes on and have breakfast in the morning and do the simplest things. And the first time he came in, he was saying, I almost wish that, I'd lost a leg or something, because people see me, he's a tall guy in really good shape and that, and they think I'm fine. He said, but I'm not. I have all kinds of difficulties. And we were telling him, you're not the first to tell us that, and, things are really hard now, but, they'll get better. I mean, to some degree. You'll never have your old life back, but you'll be more in control of your emotions. You'll find out what you still can do, what you like to do, how you want to spend your time. I mean, your life isn't over. It's just your life has changed. I mean, things aren't going to be the same, but it doesn't mean they can't be good again. And convince the people of that is kind of our mission here at the Brain Injury Society.